Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Alright, welcome back to another video, or welcome to the first time. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you found the channel. Feel free to like and subscribe because it really helps me out and it will help you out in turn as well. I'm a free educational system and I'm really happy to be part of a community that's helping kids and helping kids learn like myself. So today is an awesome video that I feel really privileged that I'm able to talk about, and that is the best possible way to invest. And do you know what it is? The best possible way I would recommend for anybody to invest their money is to buy this book. Now, you may call me crazy. This is an investment. Yeah, it is. Investing in your education is probably the best possible thing you could do for yourself. Now, I was just a young'un, wanting to get into the world of investing a bit. And my dad and my parents, my mum said to me, my dad said to me, read this book. And so this is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's an excellent book. You can probably pick it up for, it says about 20 bucks American. And it is the best book that I've ever read. It has had such an extensive, incredible influence on me, and I can't wait to tell you guys why. Now, in this book, Robert Kiyosaki talks about so many incredible concepts that just changed my perspective completely. I think that education is the most important way you could invest, because if you have no knowledge but only money to invest, then you're just going to fail because you have no idea what you're doing. You're probably just following somebody else's advice. You see, you can pay for financial advisors, you can pay for people to invest your money, but you can't pay for yourself to know unless you buy educational books, educational anything really. And I think that this is a great book to start with. And the good thing about this is that there are sequels, If you finish that and you want more, you get this book. If you finish that, you get more. You get the Guide to Investing. You finish that, you get the Guide to Precious Metals Investing. There's so many of them, and they're all such incredible books. Now, myself, I've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which I'll talk about more in a minute, and I am currently in the middle of reading The Cash Flow Quadrant. There are even board games designed around this thing that help so much. So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's 200 pages long, and I know that if there are kids watching this, that might be a bit daunting to you, and I understand that. It is quite a heavy novel, I would say. Obviously, it's an educational book, but it's got a lot of rich speaking. For example, I'll flick to a random page, and there are just so many awesome concepts. There's a lot of analogies, which is just giving personal experiences and quotes, and they really help explain this in a really helpful way. And they're just very straight to the point, as well as coming into things that you wouldn't have usually thought of. So we've got chapters like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Rich Don't Work for Money, Why Teach Financial Literacy, Mind Your Own Business, The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations, The Rich Invent Money, Work to Learn, Don't Work for Money. And that is another video that I will make and talk about not working for money, because it is such an incredible concept. Overcoming obstacles, getting started, still want more, how to afford a college education for $7,000. Now, if you don't want to read this book after hearing that, there is so much more I can tell you. This book has changed my life as a 13-year-old, and imagine what it could do for somebody that's in their, mid-20s, they're struggling financially, they're scraping through with massive debt on car, they've got massive debt on their school loans, they're just scraping a rent. If they read this book, it will change everything the way they think of anything. Robert Kiyosaki was so devoted to creating his own business and not working for money that he was homeless with his wife for over a year. And he wasn't going to a job because he preferred to not work for money and be homeless than actually work for money. And obviously, again, I will talk about this in another video. It's a very important topic, and I think it's extremely important for people to understand, but I would 100% recommend this. I'm not sponsored or anything, I always have to say it in case anybody asks, but I'm wholeheartedly recommending this awesome book for anybody that would like it. Once again, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It does have a bit of an interesting title, you know. You might start to think, well, what is he talking about? That sounds like it could be coming from a bit of an offensive way, but it's not really. He's actually referring to his own dad as a poor dad, but he loves his dad very much. And the interesting thing is that his dad is a very well-educated person. He's gone to university for many, many years. He is at the top of the educational system, and the rich dad is his friend's dad, and he was a high school dropout. And I know that a lot of people think that the high school dropout rich people are just coming into strokes of luck. You know, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, I believe they were both high school dropouts. Maybe not Bill Gates, I know Steve Jobs was for sure. But they both have gone on to create incredibly successful businesses. Microsoft, Apple, you know. And the one reason that they did that was not because they just got lucky. It's because they had a really good financial literacy. And that's how they were able to create such incredible businesses. And this book just teaches you everything that you need to know. And you may want a book that, you know, gives you guide by guide steps to investing. And that's what I thought that this book was going to be about. Obviously, I haven't read this yet, but I think the guide to investing will be more, you know, more detailed and instructive. But I still think that the other books are incredibly helpful. The cash flow board game as well is an incredible purchase. I'd recommend it. It is quite expensive for a board game. I think in the book he talks about this as being $200 for the board game. And this book was written in around 1998, I think. And obviously $200 is a lot for a board game, US even. But I cannot stress how worth it is. You know, I wanted to get into investing, and my parents got this board game out and they said, let's play this game. I have learnt more from that board game than any other financial video, financial book. You know, obviously this is the book that I'm referring to, but this board game just gives you really hands-on experience, and I just cannot recommend it any more than I can speak it. So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. Rich Dad Guide to Investing. I believe that there also is the Rich Dad Guide to Precious Metals written by another author. But I think you should all really consider reading this book because it has changed my financial literacy. It has changed my financial motivation. It has changed my financial perspective. And it has changed my life. So if that's not enough for all of you to go out and buy a copy of this book, I don't know what is. I'll see if I can find a link for it online and put it in the description so you guys can get it online if you would like. Otherwise, just go into a bookstore. I expect you will be able to find a copy. Once again, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. A life-changing book. So that's all for this video. That was a very strange video for me to make, you know. I did want to sort of lure you in, thinking that I'd found some major, incredible stock to invest in, but no. The Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad Guide to Investing. I cannot stress again how good this book is. And I was able to comprehend it as a 13-year-old. Obviously, some people might not be able to, but give it a crack, you know. But the one thing I will say is, if you're reading it and the words are just going in one ear, going out one ear, stop reading it. Because if you're not taking it in, you'll feel like you've read it, but you haven't. And there's just so much to take in that it did take me, you know, a few weeks to read this 200-page book. But once again, thank you for watching this video. I hope it helps you guys. It's an incredible book, so go out and grab a copy. That's all for now. I hope you guys are all safe, happy, and your investments are going well. Make sure to check out some of my other videos and subscribe because it really does help me out and it will help you out as well. That's all for today, everyone, and until next time, goodbye.